Yes.
And so that doesn't mean the same thing to him as it means to everybody else.
But now they're saying just to do that is bad. And here's Keith Olbermann. He did it in 2004. Listen to what Keith Olbermann said about 2004.
There is a small but blood-curdling group of reports of voting irregularities and possible fraud, principally in Ohio and Florida. And that group of reports is moving from that end of the spectrum, in which believers are also likely to be wearing hats made out of Reynolds wrap, other end of the spectrum in which the believers are going to the General Accounting Office and perhaps the FBI. Ohio has other problems tonight. The state reports 92,000 presidential votes did not count.
I think it's perfect. It looks great.
The mainstream newspaper, the Cincinnati Enquirer, reports that officials in Warren County, Ohio, locked down their administration building last Tuesday night to prevent anybody from observing the vote count. 69% of voters registered Democrats, 24% Republicans, yet President Bush got 7,738 votes and Senator Kerry just 2,180. In Holmes County, in the Panhandle, 7 Democrats for every 2 Republicans in the district. Bush beat Kerry 6,410 to 1,810. In Florida counties where optical scanning of paper ballots was not used, no such violent swings were reported. Counties with heavy Democratic registration voted Democratic. Counties with heavy Republican registration voted Republican. The 6 weeks since the election, somewhere around 20% of the nation's citizens have continued to doubt the election, and much of the other 80% have dismissed those doubts, largely by saying, well, how come the Democrats aren't screaming about it? Or if there's a problem, where's the FBI? Or how come I haven't read about this in the New York Times? Our third story in the countdown today, the New York Times reported that the senior Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee was asking the FBI to investigate what he called inappropriate and likely illegal election tampering in Ohio. That affidavit by Cheryl Eaton, a Democrat, contends that last Friday, in advance of the recount in Ohio, an employee of the company that made the vote counting software used in their county returned there, and according to Conyers' letter to the FBI, he modified the computer tabulator, learned which precinct was planned to be the subject of the initial test recount, and made further alterations based on that information, and advised the election officials how to manipulate the machinery so that the preliminary hand recount matched the machine count.
So this isn't the first time that prominent Democrats, prominent people like Keith Olbermann, the guy with the biggest Trump, has said that the elections are illegitimate. This isn't the first time that there's been credible evidence that there's some shenanigans happening with the election. But all of a sudden, again, just as soon as Trump did it, that's when it became the biggest crime in history. Just like when Trump's MAGA supporters went and protested at the Capitol. That's the worst thing that ever happened. Black Lives Matter. I saw Cornel West